What's going on, guys? It's Cameron, and today we are reviewing the Amazing Spider-Man issue 5. Now, to kick it off, the first thing I've noticed is the cover of the comic actually features a red double-decker bus. So, where do you actually get red double-decker buses? Well, London, the UK. And that's actually where this issue takes us when Spider-Man goes over to the UK, to London, to fight the Zodiac. Which is actually something really interesting about the all-new, all-different The Amazing Spider-Man comics, because Spider-Man is worldwide. So I imagine we're going to see him travel across the world quite a bit in this series from now on, so yeah, that's going to be something to look forward to. Now, I don't know whether I've mentioned this before, but in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics, during the Death of Spider-Man prelude, we actually saw Ultimate Spider-Man and Iron Man going up against Black Cat to fight Mysterio for the Zodiac Key of the Ultimate Universe. And I don't know whether I've mentioned it before, I can't remember, but yeah, that's a really interesting thing because we actually get to see the power of the Zodiac Key in those comics. And I've actually reviewed those, so if you haven't seen them, then go watch them. They're pretty awesome. And without wasting any more time, I think we should begin this review, so let's go. So if you remember from the previous issue, Spider-Man actually abandoned S.H.I.E.L.D. and the mission to go and save his Aunt May from a Zodiac attack, which pretty much consisted of them blowing up solar panels. Of course made by Parker Industries. Now at the end of the previous issue, we saw that they actually declined Parker Industries solar panels because they thought it was going to bring around more danger. And the person that actually said that was on the phone to one of the bad guys who he thought was actually going to protect them. In other words, Zodiac and the bad guys are pretty much taking over the world and planning to take down Parker Industries. And this is becoming more evident as the issues go on, because what you've got to remember is that Parker Industries is going global. They are pretty much taking over the world, almost like Apple. And this is of course going to make some enemies, like the Zodiac. Now as you can see on screen, Peter Parker and Mockingbird have pretty much figured out that the Zodiac are going to London. And I don't know why I didn't realise this, but I completely forgot that Parker Industries is a global company. So Parker Industries exists in New York, it exists in London, it exists all across the world. And I think it's truly awesome that one of the greatest heroes in the Marvel Universe, in my opinion, is Spider-Man. And the fact that he's coming to the UK, which is where I live, that's a pretty awesome thing to see. Now I imagine this is going to open up villains to maybe travel across the world to fight Spider-Man, so maybe we'll get Dr. Octopus in the UK, in London, or some other crazy place. And he might even end up making villains from different parts of the world, so maybe there'll be an Italian Dr. Octopus or an Italian villain or a French villain or something like that, I don't know, but it's going to be awesome to see that coming into play in the future issues and just seeing how far Dan Slott actually takes this. Something else I haven't really spoke about is how they kind of keep each other's secret. Like seriously, Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. don't actually know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man for some reason, but you can see Mockingbird and Prowler are keeping his secret. Like they both know, even the Human Torch knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, but they kind of talk about Spider-Man in the third person, like, oh Peter, you need to see Spider-Man, you need to tell Spider-Man. And I just love how they have this circle of trust between them, pretty much like true allies, and I love that. So as you can see on screen, they've actually detected that these villains, the Zodiac, are at the British Museum, and Peter is actually wondering how they know that. They haven't infiltrated the CCTV cameras, they haven't done any of that crazy stuff to recognise them, and he discovers that the nanotech that Parker Industries is creating has actually been put into the system, which is illegal. And I thought it was brilliant how Peter kind of expressed that through his face, like he truly believes that that is the wrong thing to do, because at the minute he is a global company, he's trying to gain the world's trust. Now I'll get back onto that later on towards the end of the issue, but I have a pretty good idea about who did it. Now really quickly on screen, did you see how Peter Parker's Spider-Man costume just melted onto his body? Almost like a symbiote. Now obviously I'm not suggesting that Peter's Spider-Man costume is a symbiote, but it very much looked like the Iron Man armor out of Civil War. You know, is it the bleed armor or something it's called? I can't quite remember, but it came from his webwear watch when he clicked it, and I thought that was awesome. It also reminded me of the Unlimited Spider-Man cartoon from the year 2000. You know, where Spider-Man goes to like an alternate Earth and he's on a planet with talking animals and stuff. Oh, that was like the best Spider-Man TV series ever, besides Spectacular Spider-Man and the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. So as we move on throughout the comic, I actually noticed something really interesting. When Spider-Man crashes through the window, he says thank you, but it's spelt thank and then EW at the end. And I retweeted Dan Slott's tweet on Twitter, and Dan Slott actually said thank you in the exact same way to someone on Twitter, so I thought that was really awesome. I'll probably include like a screenshot on the screen or something. But it's just funny because Dan Slott writes these comics, so it's almost like the dialogue that Dan Slott writes for these comics is bleeding into his daily life dialogue, and I love that. But anyway, moving on, so we get this awesome montage of all the heroes fighting against the Zodiac in the British Museum. And I thought it was brilliant how one of the Zodiacs was like, I'm a Sagittarius, I'm the best archer in the business. And Mockingbird was just like, ha, I'll handle this guy. Just because she's so sure that she can beat him. And I legitimately laughed out loud when Spider-Man was going after the Scorpio and he cut that gravestone in half or whatever it was. And Spider-Man was just like, yeah, no check he's going to be able to cover that. Because he did say that Parker Industries would pay for everything. But I don't know, I just thought that was hilarious. Now, something that I didn't actually expect to happen was for Scorpio to turn around and pretty much try and kill all of his team. But luckily, Spider-Man had like an antidote to this toxin that he was giving him and managed to save absolutely everyone. But in the process, Scorpio managed to escape. Also, I don't know what it is, but when Spider-Man is like rushing to save everybody, I absolutely love the art style, you know, just on Spider-Man's costume. I love the shine that it had on Spider-Man's head. That looks so good. But now all of that is over, we go back over to Parker Industries and Spider-Man, or should I say Peter Parker, is trying to figure out who put that nanotech into the cameras illegally and all that crazy stuff, and he actually fires Sajani. And yes, she has kind of betrayed Peter Parker before with the company, but I genuinely don't believe that it was her. I actually think that it could have been Dr. Octopus in that robot body, because he actually has access to Parker Industries. Even though it's the superior Spider-Man Dr. Octopus that's in that robot body, he still has villainous thoughts, and he would have been the person, if he was still superior Spider-Man, to just do that anyway. He wouldn't care whether it was illegal, he would just focus on saving people's lives. So that really seems like a superior Spider-Man thing to do, you know, to put nanotech illegally into software and all that. But we also got the shocking discovery that one of the shareholders in the Parker Industries company is Scorpio, which is almost like having an inside traitor. A little bit like Finn out of Star Wars The Force Awakens. Now that is the end of the issue, guys, but what did you think? Let me know in the comment section below. One thing that I did actually forget to mention was a part where Dr. Octopus in the robot body said that it was difficult to pretend to be their servants. I genuinely thought it was hilarious when he said that, and I can't wait for Dr. Octopus to come back into the comics, you know, come back into the eyesight of Spider-Man to reveal that he's actually still alive. I just cannot wait. Now, I'm actually feeling a little bit generous today, and I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10, because everything was there. Dr. Octopus was in it. I've always wanted to see him come back. He's been absent for a few issues now, so it was nice to see him back again. And the reveal at the end with one of the shareholders being the actual Scorpio Zodiac, the leader of the Zodiacs, or whatever's going on, that's a little bit crazy, and that can only be revealed to be worse as time goes on. Not to mention the art style and the humour coming out of Spider-Man, just like always. But guys, what did you think? What score would you give it? Let me know in the comments below. Again, I can't stress to you guys how much you need to follow me on Twitter and Facebook to hear about when my videos being uploaded, whether there's any problems with like electricity or internet going out or any of that crazy stuff, and just to stay up to date with all the comic book news. And of course, for more guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video. Don't forget about the Spidey issue 1 giveaway on my Instagram. The link will be in the description. And that's it for today, guys, so I will see you all next time.